Got some breaking news we got to get to from Capitol Hill because the January 6th committee is out. They've been obviously investigating the insurrection. They just issued subpoenas to 5 sitting members of Congress, including the House Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy. This sets up quite the legal showdown here. So let's bring in our Capitol Hill correspondent, Ali Vitale. So, Ali, there has been a debate for months in this January 6th committee whether or not to issue formal subpoenas to sitting members of Congress, because it's not clear they'll ever be able to make them stick. But here we are.
Yeah, Chairman Thompson has said in the past, too, that he doesn't know if they're actually able to do this. But nevertheless, the committee ultimately deciding, after several months of deliberation here, to subpoena 5 House Republican lawmakers, including the top Republican, Kevin McCarthy. You see these other members on the screen: Scott Perry, Jim Jordan, Andy Biggs, Mo Brooks, all allies of former President Donald Trump. And in the press release that we just got from Chairman Benny Thompson, he says that these colleagues have information relevant to our investigation into the attack on January 6th. He goes on to say, before we hold our hearings next month, we wish to provide members the opportunity to discuss these matters voluntarily. They have issued letters asking all of these lawmakers to come before them and cooperate. All of them have said no. Some of them, in the case of Mo Brooks, have even preemptively said that they would say and fight a subpoena. So we're about to get into that legal period. But Thompson goes on to say that they urge their colleagues to comply with the law, do their patriotic duty, and cooperate with our investigations, as hundreds of other witnesses have done. And I thought it was striking. These letters are, in some cases, pretty short, but the one to McCarthy just says, we are left with no choice but to issue you a subpoena. So this tees up a huge legal battle, Chuck, the first time that this committee has actually issued subpoenas to their colleagues, and a rare move here. We can't think of anything in recent memory of another time that a House committee has subpoenaed House lawmakers, but here we are.
Ali, this almost feels like a bit of a surrendering in this respect. There's no other way. They think they're going to get cooperation, so they figure, all right, let's try the subpoena route, because I feel like everybody had explained to me that they thought the subpoena route would actually delay their ability to do the investigation and perhaps run out the clock if control of the House of Representatives changes. Is this an acknowledgement that they know they're not going to get cooperation, so they're just going to make this hurt?
I think it's an acknowledgement that they need to do this because they've got nowhere left to go if they want the cooperation here. Perhaps the headline of the subpoena, the fact that this is so unprecedented or with very few precedents in this body, I think that is the point here, because you and I both know they are up against the clock on the midterms. If Republicans were to retake the House, this committee goes away. But more than that, as soon as things reach the courts, they tend to slow down or just grind to a halt. Think of all of those criminal contempt referrals that are just sitting, waiting to be taken up by DOJ. Once things get to the courts, that's where the process gets really gummy, really slow, and I think that the committee was well aware of that.
I was just going to say, do they have any sort of plan to expedite these court hearings?
Yeah, look, we just got this release, so if it's in there and I missed it on my first very quick scan of this letter, then I haven't seen it. But at the same time, you got to imagine that is where their heads are at here on the committee. They're 4 weeks away from the first rounds of public hearings. This is something Chairman Thompson previewed to us, that they were going to be reissuing letters in some cases to these lawmakers. Certainly the question of subpoena has been up in the air, but there are also other letters that we're waiting for them to issue too. Chairman Thompson had told me a few weeks ago that they wanted to talk to Republican senators. We haven't seen those letters yet either. And so while they're still trying to make this the most compelling case to get these people to testify, now actually issuing subpoenas, there's also still other things that we're waiting for them to put out there, because they've told us that those are avenues that they want to explore. And again, 4 weeks until that first public hearing. They wanted to have their fact-finding done before then. Obviously, now that we're entering the legal arena, that's going to be really hard.
Well, there's 3 Republican senators that Tommy Tuberville, we know, got a call. Either that was by accident, Mike Lee, and obviously Lindsey Graham had a lot of, we now know of, conversations. So there's at least 3. Ali Vitale on Capitol Hill. Thank you.